It's a stark contrast between fiction and reality, the light and darkness in the magical world of Harry Potter. Harry is the boy who lived, who survived to tell the tale. But in the real world, Rob Knox, the young actor who played Marcus Belby in the movie, was savagely stabbed to death while trying to protect his brother. Today on Two Crime Newsies, we talk about a magical saga that inspired hope and a real-life story that demands remembrance, justice, and change. Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I'm so excited we're doing a Harry Potter episode!
Hi, I'm Tina, and I'm pretty excited about it too.
I'm literally sitting here with my Harry Potter mug.
You are.
I am, because I love Harry Potter.
I know. Jen, you found this one for us.
Yeah.
Where did you find it?
So the show that we're talking about this week is called Knox, the Rob Knox story. It's a BBC original series, and I watched it on Apple TV.
And I watched it on Amazon Prime. And what I did was they give you a free trial of BBC on Amazon Prime. So I did sign up for that. I'm going to see what I can find in there for the next 7 days. And then I'm probably going to opt out if I don't like anything else I see.
Well, I definitely thought this was a good show. And before this episode, I really didn't know much about it. But it was a fascinating one to watch. Before we get started on today's episode, I just want to put in there a little listener warning. We are going to talk about some pretty graphic things in this show, so it is not meant for little ears. Yeah. So the show, Knox, the Rob Knox story, starts with very eerie music and a quote from Harry Potter. The quote says, "The wand extinguishing charm, Knox, is a charm that causes the light at the end of the caster's wand to be extinguished, thus acting as a counter charm to the wand lighting charm, Lumos."
Then the quote disappears, except for 4 key words: Knox, charm, light, extinguished.
Amazing.
And the music that they use for this whole documentary, well done.
Mm-hmm. This is a great story. Mm-hmm. Even I think if you're not a Harry Potter fan, I think this is very well done. This show also sheds light on crimes occurring throughout the United Kingdom that a lot of us, we are in America, didn't know about. So I felt like I was truly learning something. I wasn't just learning about Rob Knox and his story, but I was learning about a bigger picture as well.
Yeah, I feel like in America, we have a gun problem. Over there, they have a knife problem.
Yep.
Interesting.
So the scene is the city of Kent, England, which is located on the southeast outskirts of London. It's known to many as the Garden of England because abundant amount of fruit orchards and agricultural land. It's also known for its White Cliffs of Dover, which I've flown over these many, many, many times when I visit my family in Europe, and they're gorgeous. You look out the window and you see these majestic cliffs. It's amazing. And this is a place where Rob Knox grew up. Family members describe him as being very playful, outgoing, full of mischief, and overall just an incredible person who loved to make people smile. They show family videos of him, and he just looks like such a fun guy. And family members also say that he loved to entertain. Throughout the show, we hear from a couple of different members of Rob's family, and one of the people that we hear from is Rob's mom. Her name is Sally. She says that from a very young age, Rob loved pretending to be somebody that he wasn't. Rob's younger brother, Jamie, says that the two of them were more like best friends. They had the same group of friends, and they were pretty much inseparable. When Rob got a little older, he wanted to get into acting. He ended up getting a job at a local reality TV show called Trust Me, I'm a Teenager. And it was about teenagers getting kids to behave in their homes, and they showed clips of this, and it looks like a nightmare.
I know. What an interesting premise for a show. It does look weird. I mean, he's having to tell the kids and the parents what to do, but he's a kid.
Yep.
Although when you think about it, I mean, if you're a kid and this is your job, I feel like that would be stressful, you know?
Yeah, but he looked like he was having a great time.
He really did.
So Rob then tried out for another show called After You've Gone, which was a scripted TV show about a family and all of their shenanigans, and it just looked like a lot of fun. Then on the screen, we see a note for the production of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and a screenplay, which is a screenplay by Steve Kloves, based on the novel by J.K. Rowling. Rob wanted to give it a go. On the show, we hear from Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy, who is one of my favorite characters. I'm a total Slytherin. I really am. I know people are like, oh, be a Gryffindor, be a Ravenclaw, whatever. No, I am a Slytherin through and through.
You're the nicest Slytherin I've ever encountered. Are you sure you're a Slytherin?
I remember I did that like sorting hat thing probably more times than I can count, and I always got Slytherin.
I did the sorting hat thing. Can you guess what I am?
Hufflepuff.
Oh my god! I am a Hufflepuff! I didn't want to be a Hufflepuff. I wanted to be a Gryffindor.
I love that I instantly knew.
You instantly knew.
Didn't miss a beat at all.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Tom Felton, who is my favorite, he says, and I'm going to quote here, by the time Rob came on, there was a lot more rigorousness toward the casting process. It wasn't an easy thing anymore to just get a role on Harry Potter.
Rigorousness.
What did I say?
Rigorous.
I can't speak.
Malfoy, Jen, is one of my least favorite characters, along with any Slytherin, except for you.
Except for me.
I still can't believe you're a Slytherin.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Does it really surprise you that much?
It does. I would think more of Ravenclaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of you, but no.
Anyway.
Oh, plus, I feel like I look a lot better, too, in, like, green and, yeah.
Oh, are they greens?
They're one of their house colors is green, yeah.
What is a Hufflepuff? Yellow?
Yellow and black.
Yellow and black. Interesting.
Bumblebee.
Like a bumblebee. I really wanted to be the red. What's the Ravenclaw? Blue?
Blue, yeah.
Okay, and I'm missing one. Are we missing a house?
So you have Gryffindor, which is red and yellow. You have Slytherin, which is green and silver, or green and white, kind of depending on, And then you have Ravenclaw, which is blue, and I want to say black, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you have Hufflepuff.
Interesting. Grown-up Malfoy, Jen, is super nice. I didn't even recognize him.
I follow him on Instagram, yeah.
You follow Grown-up Malfoy on Instagram?
Yeah. He's a really talented musician.
Stop it. Hold on.
Yeah.
What is his
Tom
name?
Felton.
Tom Felton.
Felton.
Tom is going to gain an Instagram follower today.
So while Tina follows Malfoy, also known as Tom Felton, David Yates, who's the director of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, is interviewed on the show. And he says that Rob was a very confident, likable, charming guy who, at the time of his casting interview, was really nervous, but had a huge belief in his own ability. He says it was a wonderful combination of someone who was dipping their toes into something that was quite big for him. It was giving him some butterflies. Through this interview process and this casting process, Rob was casted to play Marcus Belby of the House Ravenclaw. And Tom Felton says that the Half-Blood Prince filming took a long time, and the atmosphere between the cast was super playful. And this was something I absolutely loved seeing. We got to see behind the scenes video of the cast playing things. They were playing with a ball, they were making music, and we got to see Neville Longbottom, we got to see the Weasley twins, and we got to see other actors just hanging out together and being kids.
Yeah, that was fun to see. They would play harmless pranks, like changing the language settings on someone's phone.
I would be lost.
Genius. And also the video clips of Malfoy hanging out with them and looking like a normal kid is totally strange.
I actually used to work with a guy, fun little factoid, that he auditioned to play Malfoy for the first Harry Potter movie. And he actually got to like one of the closer to the end casting things. So he obviously was not chosen, but he was one of the like finalists to play Malfoy. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you could be Malfoy's sister.
I could be Malfoy's sister?
Yeah. Like you have features like Malfoy. What if they had a girl Malfoy?
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet.
That would have been cool.
I love Malfoy's mom. I think she's fantastic.
I don't remember Malfoy's mom.
I don't really like his dad so much just because of Dobby, and he was not very kind to Dobby.
Dobby!
I know.
Oh,
Dobby, for those who don't know Harry Potter, is that Malfoy's house elf, and Dobby is just like one of the sweetest characters in the franchise.
I have to go back and watch Harry Potter.
Love it. So one of the scenes that stands out to me the most involving Marcus Belby is the scene where they're having dinner with Professor Slughorn. Now, there's a couple other people there at this dinner, and including Harry Potter, Hermione, and Neville. And in the scene, Slughorn, who likes to hang out around the star students of Hogwarts, asks Marcus Belby about his uncle. And apparently Marcus Belby's uncle had invented a famous wolfsbane potion. It's a very, very difficult potion to make that cures lycanthropy, which is another word for werewolf. So if you're a werewolf, you want Marcus Belby's uncle's potion.
Wait, don't you want to be a werewolf?
I don't want to be a werewolf.
Well, if you were a werewolf, wouldn't you want to be a werewolf? Like, isn't that kind of like your power?
I feel like you would destroy a lot of clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like when you transition.
Are you thinking of Teen Wolf?
Think about that.
So what happens if say you're a werewolf and you drink the potion. Then what are you? Just a normal person?
You're a normal person. I still think it would be cooler to be Malfoy's sister. I'm still on that. The fact that you think I could be a Malfoy sister.
I really do.
Do we look alike?
I think you look alike. You have similar features.
Me and Tom Felton?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it's very much a compliment.
So during this dinner in the movie, we're going back to the dinner because it's one of my favorite scenes.
Yes.
Marcus Belby couldn't care less about his uncle or the potion, and he has this giant heaping thing of pudding in front of him, and he is eating this pudding and just shoveling in. And it's so funny because people on the around the table are all watching him. Director David Yates says that Rob was a total trooper in the scene, brought such wonderful energy to it. He says that Rob had an enormous patience and wanted to make sure that this scene was perfect. Yates says that they made him eat a ton of pudding that day of shooting, but he just was a total trooper.
Right, because Marcus Belby is at this dinner in this scene, and his character doesn't even want to be there. He just wants the food.
Hey, I'm here for it. I would only want the food too.
So they did so many takes, and the poor guy must have felt so sick after eating all of that pudding. But I think, what a sport. And I can never watch that scene again the same.
Yeah, now knowing what I know, it makes my heart hurt.
It does make my heart hurt, but it's such a fun scene to think about and just see that, we hear that he actually really enjoyed it. Like, he enjoyed being there. He enjoyed shooting it. He wanted it to be perfect. He wanted to make sure that they shot the perfect footage for that. And I'll always picture a ton of takes of Rob eating pudding when I see that.
So after Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Rob did an independent film called Employee of the Dead, which was a movie about zombies that was filmed by a friend of his in a grocery store in one single night.
That's pretty amazing.
Now we are moved on in the show to May 23rd of 2008. The imagery is really good. The scene opens up with a shot of the moon with very heavy cloud cover. It kind of has that like ominous feel to it. Like, something bad is going to happen.
Right.
And that's when we hear a police call. The call says, I'm going to quote it. He has 2 knives on him, waving them about, waving them in my face, My mate had a punch up with him earlier. The police came and it was all calmed down. Now the beep came down with 2 knives. And the crime. Jamie, who's Rob's brother, says that Rob was going to go out that night to a bar on the southeast side of London. It was just a normal night. Jamie says Rob called him and told him to come down to the bar. So he went to the bar to meet up with his brother, just kind of to hang out. Jamie says that he was getting ready to leave the bar and a guy was shouting super rude things to a group of his friends, which were girls outside of the bar. And Rob says that one of his male friends said something about it and a fight broke out. And then eventually this guy who was starting all this ruckus ran away with some friends. And at this point, Jamie and everybody thinks it's over with, it's done with, whatever. Jamie says he didn't think anything about it and said bye to Rob and started walking toward the car parking garage with his friend Cullum. The parking garage is about a block away from the bar. It's only a couple of minutes away. Jamie says that he and Cullum were sitting in Cullum's car in the parking garage when they saw another friend named Nick and said hi to him. Hey Nick, what's going on? And Nick Jones is Rob's friend. Now, Nick says he started talking with another friend of theirs on the street about how the night went. Like, it's the normal everyday bar banter. And that's when he saw a guy approaching them, he says, with a knife in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Nick tells his friends to watch out because this guy that's coming has a knife. And the guy with the knife is apparently offended that someone observed that he had a knife and was telling people to watch out for him.
Ugh. So Nick says the man walked up to him and held the knife up to his throat. And at this point, Jamie and Colin see what's going on and drive over to where Nick is. They don't just drive over it. They actually end up driving onto the sidewalk because they're concerned. And it was just a natural, you're in this back and forth and it's, a heated state of mind. You see somebody with a knife. And so instead of just parking on the street, they pulled up onto the curb to maybe even distract the guy.
Yeah.
And Jamie says the guy with the knife came up to the car window and asked, "Do you effing want some?" And Nick says the man then walked around the car and says, "It's your lucky night. It's not your night to die."
Oh,
chilling. And Jamie says he called Rob right away and told him about the guy with the knife and told him to go back inside the bar and to stay safe. He's trying to protect his brother. Rob, go back in there. Mm-hmm. And Nick, meanwhile, called the police and gave them a description of the guy with the knife. And the guy with the knife is walking back toward the bar. He gets to the bar, and at this point, the bouncers we hear close the door to the club so that the guy wouldn't be able to go inside.
Jamie, meantime, is trying to warn people outside that this guy has a knife, but he says it's noisy out there.
It's a bar.
And people aren't hearing him. And he also says that this guy looks possessed, or like maybe he's on some sort of drugs.
Jamie says that he remembers Rob getting very angry that this guy had pulled a knife on him. Jamie says that Rob was always very protective of him. And Rob's friend Andrew was standing there with the group and had been approached by the guy with a knife, and he was stabbed in the chest. And Jamie says at this point, the guy had taken out a second knife. Nick didn't realize that the guy had a second knife until he was fighting with the suspect, with this guy with the knives, to get the first knife away from him. That's when Nick ended up being stabbed through the hand. It's just a pure pandemonium going on outside of this bar. And Nick says on the show when he's interviewed, and he is so calm, he says it's not like it is on a film or anything. It seems to go through so easily, and there was no pain or anything like that. The knife just came back out, and I thought, I don't know what's been done. And I'm like, holy moly. Like, you were just stabbed. It's pure mayhem at this point in time. And Jamie says he instinctively just turned around and started screaming. He turned back around and he saw Rob, his brother, slumped over the guy with the knife. And he was kind of holding him like in a bear hug. And Jamie says at this point, there were a whole bunch of people that were trying to push him to the ground, push this suspect with the knives to the ground and into a bush or into something just to
get him
stop
away.
This. Jamie on the show tells us that at this point he heard Rob say, "I've been stabbed." That's when Cullum helped Rob onto the floor. And Jamie, I don't think knew what else to do, but what do you do at that point? You call your mom. Your mom's going to make everything better. And so Jamie calls his mom and tells her to come down there, get down here. And by the time she got there, we hear that the ambulance was working on Rob, trying to revive him. In the show, we never hear where Rob was stabbed. It's one of the things that they don't discuss. But I went online and it actually took quite a bit of digging to find out where in his body he had been stabbed. Mm-hmm. But according to The Guardian online, Rob was transported to the hospital with a stab wound to the head.
Oh, it's terrible.
And Rob died at the hospital, and a total of 6 other people were also injured in this knife attack.
The family is in shock when they hear that doctors can't revive Rob. Rob's mom faints, and Rob's dad says, when you have to bury your son, your child, your whole world changes. It's never the same. The next day, detectives are working the case. People are cleaning up the scene. The media is there, and the media is what detectives need to help find the person who killed Rob.
Tom Felton, who plays Malfoy in Harry Potter, said that it was beyond belief because they were in the parking garage just a few days prior. He says it was beyond belief because he had never heard of anything happening to somebody who was a friend of his or someone he had worked with. And he, meaning Rob, was definitely not the sort of character that would have gotten involved in something like this at all.
Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy, not a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, Rob's death really put a spotlight on how many people are killed by knives in the United Kingdom. Turns out, we hear on the show that the suspect who stabbed Rob and stabbed all these other people was a 21-year-old man named Carl Norman Bishop. And he was arrested the night of Rob's murder. And turns out he was no stranger to police at the time.
What a surprise.
Mm-hmm. So at the time of Rob's death, this Bishop guy was out on bail for another knife crime. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He also, we hear on the show, had past convictions of knife crimes. And I'm just shaking my head. Like, how can this happen?
Ridiculous.
And 9 months later, the court case began against Carl Norman Bishop in February of 2009. And I'm going to let Tina talk about the trial coverage because I feel like you really enjoy the trial stuff.
I do. And this one's really interesting because I hadn't thought about some of the stuff before that Jamie brings up. Jamie and one of Rob's friends point out some of the difficulties of having to appear in court. They thought they would just have to go there, tell their story about what happened to the court, but they didn't anticipate that the person that they saw stabbing their brother and their friend would be sitting right there, just a few feet in front of them, smirking.
I'd want to punch somebody in the face.
Yup. Rob's parents also point out how close the family sits to this accused person and how uncomfortable it is. Rob's friends are also pretty upset. They hear this guy pleads not guilty. And it's upsetting when you saw this person say they're not guilty, but you saw them with your own eyes kill your friend. Bishop, the two knives guy, his defense is, never mind that I had 2 knives.
No biggie.
All of these people, he says, came at me and attacked me. And because they attacked me, they happened to get poked by my 2 knives. Can you believe this?
Stupidity.
My eye is twitching.
Your eye literally is kind of twitching.
When Jamie is up there as a witness, the defense tries to twist Jamie's story, and this just makes me so angry.
I just want to hug Jamie.
I know. Yes, you do. Okay, remember, Jamie and Callum drove over back to the pub when they saw the 2 knives guy, Bishop, walking that way. Well, the defense asked Jamie if they were driving toward the defendant, as if to run him over. And Jamie says, no, we drove toward the bar. The defense says again, toward the defendant? And I'm getting so annoyed right now.
Yeah.
Just like reliving.
No, so I'm going to drive away. Like, I know my friends are over there. I see this dude with 2 knives. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to drive the opposite direction. No, you're going to go over there. Your brother's there.
Also, detectives discover that the week before Rob was killed, Bishop had an altercation with some of Rob's friends. And he allegedly told Rob's friends that he's going to come back in a week and someone's gonna die. What a psychopath.
He really is.
We also learn that throughout this trial, Bishop shows zero remorse. And now we're going to fast forward to March 2009.
So on March 5th of 2009, Bishop, the two knives dude, was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life. His first time being eligible for parole will be in 2029. That's not far away.
That's not enough.
It's not enough. You have been convicted of knife crimes. You are on parole for a knife crime. When this occurs, you kill somebody and you stab 6 other people. 20 years is when you're first eligible for parole.
There should be no parole.
Agreed.
How in the world is this guy not a danger to society when he didn't show any remorse? He should be behind bars forever. No parole. And Callum says it best here. He says all this means to him is that Bishop can't commit a crime for 20 years. We see the sentencing paperwork and what looks like a transcript of what the judge said at this trial. And here's a portion of what it says that stood out to me. I don't think it is proved that you intended to kill Robert Knox. The truth is that you simply could not care less whether you killed him or not. The same goes for Dean Saunders, who was lucky to survive. Your lack of regret, let alone remorse, was truly chilling. Yes, that's why you should put him away forever. Mm-hmm. No parole.
Mm-hmm. So Rob's death really shined a spotlight on the number of people who in England die of knife attacks. We hear from Eliza Ribeiro, who is the CEO of Lives Not Knives on the show. She says that the whole system needs to change for us to actually say, you're going to get caught with a knife and you're going to go to prison. And that's just the way it is. There shouldn't be any of this, like, you get caught doing a knife crime and you're out on parole. That should not be happening.
No second chances.
Agreed. And Daniel Radcliffe, who plays Harry Potter in all of the franchise, says it's a dreadful, dreadful thing. And Rob was good. Daniel Radcliffe says, I did one scene with him and you could tell just from that he had commitment and that he entered into anything he did with a commitment. To the premiere of the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, all the main characters, we're talking about Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, all wore white bands on their wrists to remember Rob Knox.
Yeah, it was July 8th, 2009. Rob's family attends the London premiere for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. They're sad he's not there with him, but also proud of him.
Rob's family and his friends ended up starting a foundation called Stop Knives, Save Lives, the Rob Knox Foundation, to remember him. The organization tries to help prevent knife deaths, and it educates kids about street crimes and try to turn people around.
I think this is an amazing thing that they are doing. They also go to prisons and they speak to murderers and they try to turn those lives around. They also created a short film called Cold Kiss, and I recognize Jamie in that when they show us a brief clip of it. It's an educational film to spread awareness about knife crime. We also hear Rob's father speak on a radio show. He mentions that if Rob wasn't in the Harry Potter film, Rob's death probably would have had a brief mention in a newspaper. Rob's father feels fortunate to be able to have a platform to speak on behalf of his son and other victims of this type of crime. There's also a Rob Knox Film Festival.
So cool.
That gives a platform to aspiring filmmakers. There's the Rob Knox Film Academy that Jamie says aims to get kids off the streets and involved in filmmaking, something they did as kids. And I just love this story. I think it's obviously heartbreaking what this family went through and the loss of Rob's life. But I feel like they are doing everything they can to keep Rob's memory alive. And they're doing good.
Yep.
And they are creating much needed change in their community. And I really admire that. It has to be so hard to keep going.
100%.
While you're grieving the loss of your son, your brother, your friend, and they're doing such a good job.
They really are. They've done so much, and they're just keeping his memory alive. And we see a graphic on the show that says, listen to this fact. This is crazy to me. And I also feel like in the US, we haven't heard about it at all. That between April 2008 and March 2021, 2,972 people have lost their lives to violent knife attacks in the United Kingdom. And that Rob story was just one of those stories. And I think the show was gripping, not only because of the Harry Potter aspect, which I love Harry Potter, but I think it was really well done. It shined a light on a much bigger issue that I feel like so many of us don't know about.
I didn't
at all. Yeah. The music was spot on for the scenes. The interviews were very nicely done. The editing was very good. I would say go watch it for yourself. It's available through the BBC app. It's available. I watched it through Apple TV. Tina watched it through
Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm.
And it's a really good show to watch. If you're a Harry Potter fan, some of you might have already listened to this story, but it's gripping. It really is.
And if you want to support the Rob Knox Foundation, I think they're doing such good stuff. You can go to robknox.org.
Sweet. I'm glad you put that in there. Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
We would love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about today's episode, past episodes. Leave us a review. I love these little shout outs that we're doing. Mm-hmm. We had a shout out from a person called Just a Dude Podcast that said, what a fun true crime podcast. The back and forth makes it extremely fun to listen to. And anyone who brings up the movie Step Brothers has my vote. Give it a listen. Remember we talked about Step Brothers a couple episodes back?
Yep.
So I love it. Thank you so much for the review. We would love to hear from you, whether you shoot us an email, twocrimenewsies@gmail.com. Leave us a message on social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Two Crime Newsies.
I like how you said social medias.
Social medias.
Instagram and Facebook, yes.
Yep.
And leave us 5 stars. Go to Apple Podcasts, click 5 stars, click write a review. Tell us you want a shout out. We'll read your review, give you a shout out on the podcast, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, it makes our day. It really does. We love it. All right, everyone. Thank you again for being with us for another week of Two Crime Newsies. We will talk to you again next week.